Is being in residential assisted living industry a risky business? Well, I don't think so, because we're going to show you at the Residential Assisted Living Academy how to protect yourself, protect your residents, protect your staff members, that you are going to be A-okay. You hear all the time about there's a lawsuit for someone being mistreated or something terrible happening. And guess what? If something terrible happens in one of these homes, then rightfully so, someone needs to be held accountable for those bad actions. But in your residential assisted living home, we teach you how to set yourself up for success. With liability insurance, with the protection of, a law team like the Pinkowski Law Team, who's a part of the Residential Assisted Living National Association, as well as different features and amenities within the home that help protect you, like ramps and guardrails, like cameras, like eliminating trip hazards. Like in my own personal home, we've got carpets that go up and down and they're really fuzzy and they're nice to stand on, but that's a major trip hazard for a senior. So eliminating all sorts of things like that from within the home really help keep your home as safe as possible. And then having those cameras installed for if and when anything goes down, you know exactly who's in the home at all times and what possibly happened. Having the legal protection from the Pinkowski Law Team, and then of course that liability insurance. If you have all of your ducks in a row, there really shouldn't be much risk. But also, if you are afraid of doing that, are you afraid that you're a bad person? Are you afraid that you're going to run a bad business? You shouldn't be fearful of those things, because you're going to be an excellent business owner, because you're going to bring to the table something that a lot of other people aren't bringing, which is that you care, that you're trying to improve this industry. You want the standards to be held high, that you really, really desire for this industry to not have a bad reputation anymore. We need more homeowners like you who care about the risk, who care about the liability, who want to be protected and want to give our seniors the best of the best. When people come through our 3-day training, a lot of times they're watching us, they're learning from us, but we're watching them. And it's really important for me to watch them, because I want to be cautious about who I'm giving all of the keys to the kingdom to, who I'm letting into the door, letting into the industry of residential assisted living. Our seniors deserve the best of the best, and they need to be protected. Reality is, when a 9-year-old dies in a car accident, that is an absolute tragedy. And it's a really, really sad and scary situation, and the family, rightfully so, is livid. But when a 105-year-old dies in an assisted living home, it's not the most shocking thing in the world. If they died from maltreatment or misplay, completely different scenario. But we're talking about if they just pass on in the home. It's not as shocking to the family as you might think. At this point, the senior needs assisted living. They're having trouble walking. They can't bathe. They might need help eating and taking medication. And the family kind of understands that they're headed down this path. There's really only, a couple opportunities for them to exit the home. And that would be if they need to move into a nursing care home because they need doctors, gurneys, IVs, right? They need medical attention because they need to move into a different home, maybe a memory care home or a home that's charging less or has higher care quality needs, whatever the case may be, or it's because they're passing on to the next life. And I would say about 85-90% of the exit from our home have been that final category. They're moving on. The really interesting thing about working in this industry, and a lot of people who are in this industry will tell you this, is you can kind of tell when someone is nearing the end. They start to see things and say things and bring up memories, bring up people, bring up moments that maybe, they don't usually talk about. Oftentimes you'll see a senior who maybe their wife has already passed on, and they'll start talking about their wife a lot towards the end. And, whatever you may believe, but there's a whole bunch of theories around why and how that happens. But when we start to notice those things within the home, this isn't a big box facility with a 15-to-1 caregiver ratio to caregiver to resident ratio. This is a care home, 4-to-1, 5-to-1 caregiver to resident ratio, where we notice when Grandpa Bob is talking about his wife who's passed on. And we start to call the family and say, hey, just want to let you know, we're feeling something might be up with Grandpa Bob. If you want to start visiting more often, he's been bringing up your mom, who we know has passed on, and we're starting to think these are the last days. We'd love to have you come and visit more often so you can love on him, possibly towards the end. There's some incredible tracking systems within the home that can even tell you, if someone's walking less, breathing differently, going to the bathroom at a different frequency. I mean, so many different tracking things that can also indicate if someone's towards end of life. But being able to communicate that with the family and give them those last moments of connection. When the senior does pass on, it's not this big shock. It's like, okay, this is life. We knew it was coming. So I don't want you to think that every time someone passes in your home, it's this huge risk, it's this huge liability. Oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? That's just not how it is. It's a really different industry, and it's a really heartfelt industry, and the way that you're able to accommodate the family's needs towards the end of life, the senior's needs towards the end of life, is a beautiful thing in a residential assisted living home. So there's nothing to be fearful of. You set up your processes properly, you get connected with the right people, with the academy that's going to teach you how to do this properly. And then you give your clients, you give your seniors the best of the best opportunity in their last years of life. And that's how you can avoid risk and liability in residential assisted living.